And Steve, for those of us that are not maybe familiar with the Scrum methodology and the process, without giving a whole overview of the process versus other methodologies for software development, let's take one thing that you mentioned and kind of we went over really quickly. Can you talk about user stories and how that's
Mhm.
sort of unique to Scrum and how that's used to develop the features?
Yep. In old school and waterfall, there was a lot of heavy requirements written up first, and I, I've worked with that. It's fine in some situations, but when speed's important, the user story method is you discuss with the product owners, the stakeholders, what it is they're trying to accomplish, and put it into a as this role, I want this feature so that I can do this story, and then work out some of the more detailed requirements of what might need to be met, like HIPAA or the credit cards or data security, and then throw that to the development team and let the smart people decide how to build it. So the user story tells them what we need to be built, and the developers tell us how they're going to do it. And it saves a lot of time and it really makes some bulletproof software. And Kate could talk to that as well.
Yeah, thanks. So, the initial requirements are provided by the product owners team, and then the team collaborates, have these meetings where we have the backlog grooming session, and we see the priorities. In terms of tasks that are in our backlog, and then we discuss each feature separately, and we play planning poker, where each team member provides the evaluation of the task difficulty, and we decide how many so-called points do we have for each task, and then we see the evaluation added by the stories. So then we can decide further which ones are heavier, which ones are lighter, and when working in this environment for a long time, the team can feel and know and evaluate based on the previous experience how many points can we finish during the sprint. And then when we get to the division of the users of the story into the tasks, we are also adding the task for each member of the team, such as development itself, right? For example, writing tests and task for management. So those tasks are pretty standard, and those are usually estimated by each team member who has the proficiency in this field. And then we, by dividing this step by step, we can see the real effort, the real work effort that it will be, that this task will be having. So that was what was very helpful for us, that we used, all of us used this joint process. We used the joint environment such as Jira to monitor this and to go through this. So we even had some discussion threads in the tasks we had, in subtasks and stories, where we discussed this with Brianna and Steve in case we had any questions. So this feedback and this communication was daily, even several times per day, and everyone was aware of what's currently in progress, what's coming next, what I don't know what issues we have faced, what should be put on pause, so something like that. It provides the clear and transparent flow for all participants of the process.
I could expand on something Kate mentioned is story points. And that's really what bridges the gap between development and the stakeholders is the team estimates the amount of difficulty in a story, not how long they think it'll take, but how hard it is in relation to other stories. And over a period of weeks or sprints, they develop a velocity of how many story points they can do every 2 weeks. And then we could communicate that to the stakeholders and say, you have 20 story points. And then Brianna and Paula could look at the backlog and say, in those points, we'd like to do these stories next. And it gave them a sense of what the team could accomplish every 2 weeks and match priorities to that.